Hello, Kapwa family. Welcome to the Golden Tara channel. My name is Tong, and I'm here to just share with you some of my knowledge and standings about uh, Filipino contemporary spirituality and practices that I have used or am using, and I'm happy to share with people. The first thing that we need to talk about is the concept of Diwataan. Diwataan, without the H, Diwataan is the correct terminology to use if you just want to name Philippine contemporary spirituality. And this is based on the information that has been shared by Batara, who is Babaylan from Agusan del Norte. And he has explained on his YouTube channel, Batara Alternative, that what we need to call the preference of Babaylans, and his recommendation is that we call contemporary Filipino spirituality as Diwataan, and that the term Diwatahan with an H in the middle is the practice that the Babaylan use in tribal practices. And so Diwatahan is the practice, what we can call the practice that the Babaylan in different tribes, indigenous tribes in the Philippines use. And since I am not a Babaylan, in the traditional way or in the way that the protocols are handed down from generation to generation, I am not a Babaylan. I'm just a regular person in the United States, and who has learned a lot more about colonization and how Christianity has changed our own spirituality and our spiritual practices. So my hope is that I can share with you some of the things that I know, and then you can ask me questions so we can kind of work on this together, because there really isn't much out there about Diwataan, and there's not many people that can talk about this, not just in English but also in Tagalog. So in this channel, I might switch around. I might explain things in Tagalog, especially if the question is being posed to me in Tagalog. Pag tinagalog nyo ako sa tanong ninyo, Tagalog din ang isasagot ko sa inyo. Minsan-minsan, mahirap Tagalogin ang mga terms na ginagamit natin ngayon. Kasi marami na tayong mga terms na Tagalog na nawala na. So in some cases, it's going to be very challenging to find a Tagalog term for a practice that we're doing. And so, we're going to have to try to figure it out. And that's part of the joy and the excitement and the really interesting thing about contemporary Filipino spirituality, because we are actually co-creating it as we go, as a community. So that's what I love about it. So I'm going to use the term Diwataan as recommended by Batara. Thank you so much, Batara, for your teachings. And that's what we'll use in this channel for the most part. The reason why we cannot use the term Diwatahan, or we cannot call our practice Diwatahan, is because we are not Babaylan that have taken on that role in our tribe to be the healer, the medicine maker, the storyteller, the conflict resolver of the tribe. And so in many of our indigenous communities, sa mga katutubong tao ng Pilipinas, marami tayong mga Babaylan. They're still here. They're still there. They're still alive, and they're doing work right now within their tribes and with other indigenous groups. Pero dahil sa because of colonization, napalayo tayo sa traditional practices natin. And now that we have been disconnected from our indigenous roots, many of us, unless you're still there and you're connected to your tribe in some way. Most of us Filipinos are not even in the Philippines, we're overseas, we're wandering the world, just our ancestors have always done. And, we are learning as we go. So there are many people who, because of the teachings, the limiting beliefs that Christianity and Catholicism has placed on us, that for many people it is no longer the only practice that would serve them. And so again, this Diwataan, or this channel, is not about not liking Christianity or anything like that. Everybody can practice their own spiritual practice, but this channel in particular is going to be talking more about a particular practice that is not often well seen, well known, well connected to our everyday life yet. So let's start with the term Diwata. What is a Diwata? A Diwata, the word Diwata stems from the term Diwa, which means thought or essence. Diwa, every human being, every living being, whether you're a rock, or yes, rocks are living beings, whether you're a rock, a plant, a river, you have an essence, you have a thought. And Diwata is basically the personification of that essence or thought. It is a term that can be used to describe the life-giving force, the energy, the spirit that is embodied and embedded in all nature, Mother Earth, plants, animals, the mountains, rocks, oceans, forests, the sun, the stars, the universe, everything. Everything has a spirit, an energy, a flow. Diwata, the term Diwata has been used, it denotes a spirit, and it is the embodiment of the power and beauty of nature. We're all, in nature, all of nature, we are related. We're all related to nature. And being connected to nature is a core value of Philippine pre-colonial spirituality. When the Spaniards came here, we were already connected to nature. We were connected to the trees. We did not worship trees and plants. We honored them. We respected them. We treated them like our relatives. And that's what it means to be connected to nature. And in Diwataan practice, that is very, very important. It is a core value practice of the spiritual practice. Okay, so Diwataan is the contemporary practice that we will be using to call what we are talking about. And it is basically a contemporary term that Filipinos today can use to describe their spiritual and healing practice. And this can vary from individual to individual because everyone has a different ancestral root. And it can be informed by community memory and the practices that your community is practicing. So it is also spiritual practice based on Philippine pre-colonial ways of knowing, and involves a process of reclaiming ancestral knowledge and history, and a form of deep respect and love for nature. Not worship of nature, but respect and love for nature. So, Tagalogin natin. Ang Diwataan ay isang kontemporaryong pamamaraan ng espiritual na pagsasanay na base sa karunungan ng ating mga ninuno. Noon pa, bago dumating ang mga mananakop, mga Kastila, mga Amerikano, meron na tayong mga pagsasanay na ginagamit noon pa lang, na kasama sa pagsasanay ng mga tribo na kung saan tayo kasama. May mga proseso na kasama sa Diwataan na kailangan maintindihan natin ang pagbabawi. Paano natin mababawi ang mga kaalaman ng ating mga ninuno? Iyan ang isang challenge ng Diwataan, especially lalo na kung wala ka sa Pilipinas. Medyo challenging because you're kind of far away, from your ancestors, your ancestral land. So, yan ang mga definition na gagamitin natin ngayon muna. So, diwa, which is thought or essence. Diwata, which is a term that can be used to describe the life-giving force, the energy, the spirit that is embodied and embedded in nature, in all nature, Mother Earth, plants, animals, the mountains, the sun, the rocks, the forests, the oceans, the stars. And Diwataan as the correct term to use for contemporary Philippine spiritual practice. And Diwatahan, the term that is used for babaylan or traditional ways of practice. Okay, so we need to make a distinction between traditional and contemporary. Traditional practice are the traditional practices of indigenous people. So these are the protocols that have to be followed by the tribe. These are the ways that ways of knowing that tribal members learn about life as a tribal member or as an indigenous person. In Diwataan, we don't consider ourselves indigenous in the sense that, in the way that maybe indigenous people are connected, but we are all indigenous to somewhere. But because of colonization and immigration, migration, even structured migration, people were rewarded for moving to other quote unquote rural areas or indigenous areas in the country. So some of our ancestors experienced that. And so, all of that detracted from our continued growth in our own spiritual practice as Filipinos back in the day. And so many of us now who have grown up with a different understanding of spirituality are very eager to learn. And so I'm so excited to share all of this with you, and I hope you tune back next time where we can talk more about the different concepts in Diwataan, including Kapwa, consciousness. I want to talk about my own journey. I also want to talk about usapang tao and some of the ways that we talk about and have conversation with each other and have a relationship with each other. So until next time, Kapwa, stay well and stay healthy and safe travels. Thank you.